Pavel Telička has the floor. Sorry, I missed you earlier.
Mr. Chairman, I take that personally.
Thanks a lot.
Anyway, thank you for the floor, and also I would like to thank Mr. Nielsen for the interaction we had so far. Let me maybe first start with two rather general observations which were touched upon already. One is, it's a pity and I regret it that we debated only at the time when the Employment Committee is already at the phase of amendments. I think that this, of course, limits our scope. The second is, but this is something that we are very fond of in the European Parliament of doing, that the Employment Committee is really basically interfering with our points, with the competences of our committee, and to some extent vice versa. I think that maybe at a certain point we could introduce through the relevant forum a little bit more self-discipline among the committees. Now, on the draft, I would like to start by fully agreeing with the rapporteur that the major issue that we are really facing is the implementation of the existing legislation. I think that Mr. Nielsen is absolutely right that this should be the key objective. This is what we should be focusing on. And the fact is that we have a problem both with implementation and maybe also with the interpretation with the rules that exist. So this is something that I would appreciate if the opinion, and not only the opinion, but we in the future would really be focusing on. Now, the second point is, and I think also already touched upon by Markus Pieper and maybe other colleagues, and that is the administrative burden. I mean, it's rather easy to draft provisions, legislation, in a way that the implications would be disproportionate in terms of the benefit that it brings and the administrative burden that it creates. And I must say that, for example, the tachograph that has been mentioned several times, but is also in the text, do we really want to introduce the most modern devices into lorries of micro companies, basically a family company of 1 or 2 trucks which is operating 50 or 30 kilometers around a certain point? So I'm just trying to show in a concrete example that well-meant maybe proposals can have very negative implications, which in fact will backfire on the working conditions of the people that we so much are concerned about. So we don't want to lose jobs. I think we want to create jobs. And while I agree that these, let's call it burdens or these requirements for a company of 100 or 500 trucks is different from something that we impose on really one lorry company if I were to a large extent simplify it. The other point is subsidiarity, which has also been referred to, and that's linked, in fact, with the first point, and that is we want to implement what is existing, but we also want to make sure that we basically do not even attempt to go into legislative or other work that is not in our competence. And I think that this is in fact an unnecessary bottleneck that we would be arriving at with the member states. So in this respect, I cannot subscribe to some of the provisions in the opinion, like compulsory taking over of employees. I mean, there is a certain margin. I understand the point, but we should be able to describe it in a different way than we are doing it. The aviation strategy, I think that as a rapporteur for the aviation strategy, I will definitely focus on that also in the opinion. I would like, though, to say that the aviation strategy reflects some socially sensitive points, but I think that I would subscribe to what the Commission says, and that is first to evaluate, first to assess, and then come with action. Mr. Chairman and colleague Nielsen, this would be, let's say, the 4 pillars of issues that I would be addressing with the amendments. Final remark, I mean, on the road transport agency, I think that we might have the debate in the future, but I really wonder whether we should be coming with ideas on the social aspects that the road agency would have whatever role. But that is a side comment. I will be talking about that also with my colleagues in the group. But on the first 4, that's where I would be filing my amendments. And thank you.